The Sneetches by Dr. Seuss, a responsive reading. Are you ready? Let's begin. Now the star-belly Sneetches had bellies with stars. The plain-belly Sneetches, those stars weren't so big. They were really so small, you might think such a thing wouldn't matter at all. But because they had stars, all the star-belly Sneetches would brag. With their snoots in the air, they would sniff and they'd snort. And whenever they met someone they were out walking, they'd hike right on past them without even talking. When the star-belly children went out to play ball, could a plain belly get in the game? You could only play if your bellies had stars, and the plain-belly children, when the star-belly Sneetches had frankfurters roasts or picnics or parties or marshmallow toasts, they never invited the plain-belly Sneetches. They left them out cold. They kept them away, never let them come near, and that's how they treated them. Then one day, it seems, while the plain-bellied Sneetches were moping and doping alone on the beaches, just sitting there wishing their bellies had stars, a stranger zipped up. "My friends," he announced in a voice clear and keen, "my name is—" "And I've heard of your troubles and I've heard you're unhappy, but I can fix that. I've come here to help you, I have what you need, and my prices are low and I work at great speed, and my work is—" Then quickly Sylvester McBean put together a very peculiar machine, and he said, "You want stars like the star-belly Sneetch? My friends, you can have them for— just pay me your bunny and hop right on board." So they clambered inside. And it clonked and it bonked and it jerked and it burked and it bopped them about, but the whole thing really worked. The plain-belly Sneetches popped out. They had stars. They actually did. Then they yelled at the ones who had stars from the start, "We're exactly like you. You can't tell us apart. We're all just the same now, you snooty old smarties, and now we can go to—" "Good grief," groaned the ones who had stars at the first. "We're still the best Sneetches, and they are the worst. But now how in the world will we know," they all frowned, "if which kind is what?" Then came McBean with a very sly wink, and he said, "Things are not quite as bad as you think. So you don't know who's who, that's perfectly true, but come with me, friends. I'll make you again the best Sneetches on the beaches, and all it will cost you is—" "Belly stars are no longer in style," said McBean. "What you need is a trip through my star-off machine. This wondrous contraption will take off your stars so you won't look like Sneetches who have them on theirs. And that handy machine working very precisely—" Then with their snoots in the air they paraded about, and they opened their beaks and they let out a shout, "We know who is who, now there isn't a doubt." Then of course those with stars got frightfully mad. To be wearing a star now was frightfully bad. Then of course old Sylvester McBean Then of course from then on, as you probably guess, things— All the rest of that day on those wild screaming beaches the fix-it-up chappie kept fixing up Sneetches. Through the machine they raced round and about again, changing their stars every minute or two. They kept paying their money, and they kept running through, until neither the plane nor the star-bellies knew whether this one was that one, or that one was this one. Then when every last cent of their money was spent, the fix-it-up chappie, and he laughed as he drove in his car up the beach, they'll never will learn, no. But McBean was quite wrong, I'm quite happy to say. The Sneetches got really quite smart on that day, the day they decided Sneetches are Sneetches, and no kind of Sneetch is the best on the beaches. That day all the Sneetches forgot about stars, and whether they had one or not.